A surge of threats to schools has investigators busy with parents and students on edge across the Bay Area. These are just some places where there have been threats of violence since the Georgia school shooting that left 4 dead. This is Nightside. I'm Emerald Morrow. Dave has the night off. Nearly a dozen have since been charged with making threats, some admitting to deputies it was all a joke. Tonight, 10 Tampa Bay's Chris Hurst is live at the headquarters for Hillsborough County Public Schools. And Chris, district leaders say they have been inundated with threats.
A record-setting year, Emerald. Close to 200 calls of threats into Hillsborough schools just in the past week. And experts say this contagion or copycat effect that we see after high-profile shootings is definitely real.
It's very scary out here as a parent to not know what's going on.
A lockdown at a high school in Lithia.
One of about 6 threats that we've been dealing with since 7 o'clock last night.
And threats investigated in Pasco, Marion, and Manatee counties.
In the past 24 hours, we've had 9 separate school threats.
And that's just Friday. Since the school shooting in Georgia, school districts here and around the country seeing a surge of threats made on social media, most of them bogus.
Just a huge increase across the country in calls and responses, and in fact, arrests.
Threat assessment experts say most threats are considered low risk, but each can still cause harm.
I would bet 85, 90% of the cases that my team gets are what we would consider to be low, moderate risk. They're not going to hurt anybody, but they're scaring people. They're creating fear and distress.
For behavioral analysts, the answer as to why a student would make a threat is always unique to them.
You know, we're really asking a very individualized question about a person's learning history, the way that they've come to interact with the world, their present circumstances, their physiology and biology.
Around a dozen Bay Area students have been arrested and charged, sending a powerful message, but also potentially further putting them on a track toward crime.
And now you've got somebody who, if you thought that they were marginalized and angry and isolated before, yeah, we've created some real challenges as we move forward.
Ever since the Parkland shooting that happened back in 2018, Florida has had this anonymous reporting app called Fortify Florida for people to send in tips for school threats. And we have learned that the state has seen 5 times as many tips reported this year as opposed to last year. Live in Tampa, Chris Hurst, 10 Tampa Bay.